This is Jonathan Agartha for Pro Boxing Fans. We're in Manchester today at the last press conference of Anthony Crolla's career, joined by trainer Joe Gallagher. Joe, how's this camp differed for Anthony in terms of his final fight? Has it been sort of an emotional one?
No, it hasn't, to be fair. I think Anthony, because of his last fight and the performance, he's come into camp, he's trained very well, he's brought enthusiasm, work ethic into it, and he's been performing very well in the gymnasium. My problem is everyone keeps telling me how well he looks. It's got to cause a problem because he might not want to finish after this, but no, you never have to question Anthony Crolla. His work ethic, his attitude, his determination, his dedication. He owes it to the fans that have bought tickets to go in there and give a good performance and be the best Anthony Crolla that he can be.
You said during the press conference that a lot of Anthony's stablemates have been saying how good he's looked, and this isn't his last fight. It is his last fight though, isn't it?
100%. Well, if it isn't, his next one won't be with me. He's promised me that it's it, and it's knowing when to go out at the right time. And like I said to you, still relevant in world boxing, still highly ranked, and to be able to go on your terms and not go because there's nothing else for you to achieve. Anthony could hang around and try and get a world title fight in another 12, 18 months, but it's them fights in the meantime that'll put the mileage on you. And then the new breed of fighters coming through, your Gervonta Davies, your Lopez's, Devin Haney's. I mean, they're coming into the prime, and you don't want to be losing to fellas that you most probably would have beat in your prime. So it's knowing when the right time, and to be able to go out on your own terms, it's the right thing to do. Anthony's doing that.
Give us an idea of what it's been like to work with Anthony over the years. He's had a lot of tough fights, a lot of huge fights. What's he been like compared to anyone you've ever worked with?
I think he's been, there's lots of words, he's been brilliant, he's been frustrating. I wouldn't say annoying. Well, I was annoyed when he tried chasing two burglars down the street like a he-man, but I've really enjoyed it. He come through an era where at the time everyone was fighting, putting on weight, and I was saying to him, listen, you can't be like that. If you want longevity in your career, you've got to stay near the weight. He's always kept himself in the gym, looked after himself, and that's why he looks as well as he does. He's 33 next week, or the week after, and he's been a dream to train.
I want to just talk about the other fighters you've got at Gallagher's gym. See, coming up in a couple of weeks, Callum Smith takes on Ryder. You finally got a fight date announced. How's Callum been looking in camp ahead of this fight?
Brilliant, brutal. He's got good sparring partners over. He's listen, it's got to be his first fight in 2 years since he's fought in Liverpool. To come back as the world number one, the homecoming. He wants to go in there and put a right performance, and that Echo Arena's got to be bouncing, and everyone in Liverpool's got to come out, support him, and listen, it's a good time for Liverpool as a sporting city. Next year, May time, you could have Callum fighting at Anfield and Liverpool become Premier League champions, and it'll be it's hard saying that, isn't it? But it's I think that's why Crolla's half retiring, because we don't have to take the stick next year. So it'll be huge. But Callum Smith is in great form and is looking to go in there and put a clinical performance in on November the 23rd.
I mean, I was actually at Anfield last night for the football, and I kind of was looking around. It's incredible saving and imagining sort of Callum Smith ring walking around there. How much of like a dream would that be for Callum to be ring walking?
100%. I've said it all along. When they qualified for the final last year, I texted Eddie Hearn and said, can you imagine that next year? Callum Smith's in the tunnel ready to come out, and that stadium's singing You'll Never Walk Alone. How ironic, and what a song for a boxer to walk into a ring, what they said alone his place. So that's got to put goosebumps on you now talking about it. But that'd be great for the city of Liverpool, and hopefully that's a dream that comes true for the city next year.
Obviously, we're looking at Ryder for November 23rd. If that Anfield date was to happen, say next year, does it have to be a Canelo Alvarez or a Gennady Golovkin, or does a domestic battle with Billy Joe Saunders also fit the bill?
Well, no, personally myself, I think it does have to be a big name. Triple G, ticks the boxes. Kovalev, Gilberto Ramirez, Julio Cesar Chavez. They're big names, they're good dance partners. Billy Joe, well, I'm not keen on Billy Joe, I'll let it be known. Doesn't really sell the tickets, not really the dance partner. Been tested positive before. Don't really want to put my fighters into people against that. Nothing against Billy Joe, he's a good fighter and everything else. Not a cop out, but don't really want that. And I'll say that if they can go and get a Benavides, would want that. They're the big fights that we want. So That's what we want to do. It's got to be the right dance partner. We don't want to only end up having 10 or 12,000 in there. We want 30, 40. And if Canelo wins and Eddie Hearn can throw in his own a lump of money at Canelo, that'd be great to bring him over. There'd be no chance of it, but there is big names over there. A bit to be at light heavyweight. There's big names to be have, and that's what we want. Triple G obviously would be ideal as well.
Canelo Alvarez tomorrow night, obviously taking on Sergey Kovalev. Just break that fight down for me. How do you see that one going?
I think, listen, it's a good fight. Kovalev's coming off a good win. As much as in trouble, he recovered very well and got the win, got strong jab in him. I just think the miles on the clock, a bit of tread on the tyres, gone a little bit over the 200 Ward fights, that last time out, and there's no point trying to have him defend against a B2B ever in unification because there wasn't money there. The money was the Canelo fight. Canelo, listen, they've sparred each other in the past. He knows maybe whether he's got his number or not, and it's just a matter of time. And you'd think Canelo would most probably chop him down by rounds 10, 11, or it'd be hard for Kovalev to get a points decision in Vegas, let's put it that way.
Just moving back onto your stable, Callum Smith. When do you expect him out next? There was talk of going on the Ruiz AJ undercard. Is that an announcement imminent?
Yeah, no, it's an announcement imminent. He'll be fighting before the end of the year. It'll be in December, but I can't say too much more at the moment, whether it's America or whether it's in Saudi. But Callum Smith will be fighting before the end of the year, which is good news.
I mean, there's talk of a potential fight with Kell Brook. Obviously, that won't happen in America. Is that a potential for next year in England?
Yeah, I've always said, listen, that's a great fight. Would love to have that fight. I've got to make sure that Callum Smith's a world champion before for have that fight, because it's the only way that Callum Smith would get fair share on everything, because everyone will be saying, oh, Kell's the A side, Kell's this, but Kell's not really done nothing at 154. Liam's the main man at 154, and he should be the A side, he should be on the most money, and that's it. So the only way that's got to happen is by Liam being a world champion, and yeah, would happily defend that against Kell Brook.
Callum Johnson, what's the news on him? I haven't seen him out for a while. I think he's having surgery, am I right in saying? When's he back out?
No, Callum Johnson, he was offered the Bivol fight just recently, but had to pull out. He just had a little small operation in his shoulder, so he's gutted about that. His stock obviously has risen when you've seen the performance of BTB at the weekend. He's mad for that rematch. We need to get him back in. There was talk of fights with him and Joe Smith. I won't mind him fighting, how do you pronounce his name? Govoznik. I think that's a good fight for Callum Johnson. Would happily have that, and yeah, if we could do a better job than B2B Evan, force that rematch. But Callum Johnson's got to be back, and he wants the big names.
And the other Smith brother, Stephen Smith, how's he been looking in training? What's next for him?
Yeah, no, Stephen Smith is in the gym, he's training, just waiting a date. Hopefully he'll get on the Callum Smith undercard in Liverpool, have a fight there, and there's talk of Highland, and we'll see what happens then after that. Jose Burton, he's training, he's fighting in December in the MTK light heavyweight contract. Sam Hyde, he's got to be fighting Dion Juma for the English and the final eliminator for the British, so he's in the gym training. Paul Butler is just waiting for this World Boxing Super Series final to finish to see what happens with them belts. He's number 1 in Europe, 3 in the world. Natasha Jonas, she's out on November the 15th. So busy end to the year with everyone at the moment. So the gym's buzzing, good sparring going on, and we're looking to see the year out on a high.
Finally, as you mentioned, Sam Hyde, he had a very close fight with Riatpour until Riatpour stopped him. We all saw the injury. Riatpour looks like he's going to fight Jack Massey for the vacant British belt. Is that an inevitable rematch that both you and Sam want?
100%. I was very disappointed that fight. It was a year ago in the Bellew Usyk Billy that fight happened, and I thought it was ideal to put this on this show for the WBA Intercontinental or whatever. I thought that was unfinished business. Has to be it. We all know Sam Hyde was winning the fight clearly, only to stand on his feet to get the decision, and we want that rematch. That's unfinished business, but we'll be patient, we'll do our thing. We've got to go in and fight Dion Juma. We win that, we'll become the mandatory, and we've got to force that position. Whether Riatpour gives that up then speaks a lot about the appetite then of him doing, does he really want to fight Sam Hyde? But it's a tough fight, Riatpour. Jack Massey's a good fighter, and that's not a gimme neither. That's a very close fight that. I can't say who'll win that at the moment, but it's a pick-em fight at the moment.
Finally, I just want to get your thoughts. Obviously next week, slightly different kind of event. KSI, Logan Paul, YouTube event. What do you make of a YouTube event for boxing, and how important is it to perhaps attract the casual fans to the sport?
Yeah, listen, we've seen it here before at the Manchester Arena with Freddie Flintoff, and other people like Conor McGregor going in, do you know what I mean, against Mayweather. No disrespect to Conor McGregor or anything, but came from UFC background. But to have these two people, it just shows this generation and how things have changed with live TV, live sport. That some of these two people on YouTube have become phenomenals overnight. We've had KSI in the past in the gym doing stuff with Callum Smith, and the gym was absolutely being smashed down for people, kids outside wanting to come in, and we're like, wow, who is this KSI? And when you see the followers and his worth, and you're like, wow. And fair play to them, to do it the right way. They're getting the professional license, they're going in the ring, and if it generates interest for the sport of boxing, great. It brings more viewers, and if some of them watch Billy Joe and go, he's all right, or they'll watch whoever's on it and go, he's all right, and they pick 100 new fans up or 200 new fans, that's great. And what we need to do with boxing, that's no different than Tyson Fury with the WWE tonight, and I think Fury will win that tonight.
Well, Joe, I appreciate your time. Last dance to Anthony Crolla. We wish you all the very best on Saturday night.
No problem. Make sure you're listening to $1 Million by Whitney Houston this week. Put you in the mood.
Cheers, Joe.